What's up? It's Manu, and today we are here for the power rankings for the Legendary Division of the Frost Battle League Season 12, and I'm joined today by Karisai.
Hey, thanks for having me. We're here to do the legendary.
Welcome, welcome. The rankings were done by myself and Karisai, so if you have problems with that draft better skill issue, that's about it, pretty much, yeah.
Or just DM us and be like, "What's up with
Yeah,
that?"
if you have problems, you can ping Karisai in the Discord server and insult
Yeah.
him. Don't ping me. I don't
No,
want that.
I'm sorry. I'll take it. I'll take all the flame.
Alright, so let's get right into things. At number 16, we have Big Darude, Raging Bull Palafin. Not a bad start. But
Yeah.
what are issues with? Okay, so basically the hazards aren't great. I think they are very much relying on Crocodile and Klefki only, because the other two are just like your one pointers. They're not really coming. And then the only form of hazard removal is Halucha, which is bad.
Yeah, Halucha defog is crazy, but I do like.
Yeah,
Okay, I will say I like the name San Jose
yeah,
Panquakes. I like
it's
the
a cool team
logo.
name. Yeah.
I like your first few mons. Terra Raging Bolt is him.
Mhm.
Palafin, I feel like he's been getting a bunch of heat lately, but hopefully you can pull it off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I,
there's a I think I rated this a little bit lower because I was kind of unsure of how the whole team meshes together, especially with that Halucha being the only form of removal.
mhm.
Uh,
Especially in a
and I'm just
Palafin
kind of like,
team, that's important.
yeah. I mean, he got good pivots too, so I think Palafin is kind of like, if you play well, it could go pretty solid.
Pivots are definitely a strong point of the team. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I
Also, a lot of dragon immunities.
yeah, I will say though
So
that
many fairy types.
oh yeah, but like the speed on the team looks good on the first glance, but I think it's kind of bad because you're really relying on like Ribbon B or Tornadus most of the time. Otherwise, your only fast one you're realistically bringing to a lot of games is Alucha. I don't think the other two are really gonna come that often, or at least they shouldn't.
Yeah.
So it's
And you're
you
also
do
kind
have
of
good play
stretched
already,
thin.
but yeah.
Yeah. You're stretched thin with like your ice and flying resist too, I think.
Yeah, flying is manageable because you do have like good resists in Klefki and Bolt, but once Bolt terrors, it's mainly just Klefki, which is a bit annoying, and then the ice, also once again just Klefki and then Palafin, and you don't really want to take too much damage on your Palafin by switching it in on random moves, you know.
Yeah, I do like Klefki though, but I think that's like your only reliable T waiver as well.
Yeah, literally. Or Wrigley Tough, I
Because
guess. Oh yeah, this team
I
has
oh I,
no.
s- I see that, yeah.
It has no Willow, it has no Toxic, it has no Toxic Spike, so the only possible status you're ever going to be doing with this team is like Toxics from Run from the ability, or then T-Waves from Klefki.
Yeah, I do like it though. I think it's a pretty cool team. I'm excited to see. I mean, just because I don't know, I don't really see how the team meshes together. I don't understand the vision, but I am excited to see how you play with it because I think
Yeah.
that your first few mons are great, and then I don't know. I'm just kind of seeing if Holicha pops off here, bring that defog set every single week. That'd be insane. But
See, I think you focused, like you didn't really focus on roles or something, I guess, and like you try to make, like you saw like at the end of that, oh, I don't really have good hazards, let me pick a spiker and a rocker or something,
yeah,
but unfortunately those one pointers aren't gonna fix much. So also this is just like a personal thing, but I think Terra Halucha is really good, and on a team like this with like Rillaboom it could really thrive, so I would
oh yeah,
like it a lot if you were like able to Terra the Halucha, maybe by getting rid of those two one pointers, and then maybe getting rid of Tornadoes or something for another rocker or spiker. I think Gastrodon is like relatively cheap, and I think gets both hazards. That could maybe be a good addition. I'm not sure if it's undrafted, but you know.
it could be. Wait, let me check. There's a couple mons I feel like
Yeah.
I'm surprised got undrafted here. Like
Let's
let's
see.
see.
Gastrodon, where is it? Yeah, it's free. You could actually get it.
Okay,
Maybe.
nice. Yeah,
It's in the same tier as Tornadus, right? No, it's like 1 point more expensive. You can do that easily.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was
Okay.
gonna say you do that instead of tearing the Halucha because I don't think you're tearing anything other than the bolt.
Or maybe both. Could be cool.
Maybe yeah, I think Terra Halucha. If you can make that work with the bolt Palafin Rilla, that'd be insane. I'm excited. I'm excited to see your replays.
Yeah, there is a good player though. I've known this guy for a really long time, so he should perform well despite the team.
Okay, bet.
Alright, and then in number 15, let's move on. We have Gigax 2000 or whatever the hell. I don't know how you pronounce that exactly. The first thing I noticed when looking at this was like, why did you draft both Roaring Moon and Salamence? That was really funny.
That's father and son. That's them right there. Another great name, by the way, Cacaligators, with a great logo. These logos are fire.
Cacaligators.
Cacaligators.
Wait, what the hell? I didn't know this.
Do you see that? You see that? He's got the wig on.
Yeah.
I think my biggest gripe with this one was there's some pretty big weaknesses that I couldn't really ignore. Like fighting and ground and flying were the biggest ones. And then rock, I mean, you got some cool resists with like Tusk and Empoleon, but I don't know, it gets kind of a little
There's
bit...
a lot of pressure on Empoleon into flying types and dragon types because it's your only resist to both, given the lack of fairy on the team. The fighting weakness is huge, but I also think the resists are good because you have like Glowking, you have Moltres, even Salamence can be like bulky, intimidate, whatever the hell. Should be okay. My things I don't like about the team is that you have a team like Roaring Moon, Slowking and stuff. They all kind of appreciate spikes damage because their main checks are like steals. And your Spiker is a little in Sand Slash, which isn't great. And then you also have like 4 rockers, but only one of them actually likes running it. I don't really think Tusks loves rocks. Infernape can run them, but doesn't really want to. Sand Slash is never coming, and if it does, it's probably going to be for like Slush Rush with Slowking and stuff, so it's not going to have hazards. So it's mainly just Empoleon that has to check flying types, check dragon types, get up rocks, and then yeah, it's just gonna be very limiting. Empoleon has to come to literally every game, I think.
I will say his ghost resist is Munchlax, which I think is kind of hype, but other than that, you got Roaring Moon. So I don't know if when you run into that Spectrier, Spectrier clicks like Sub or Willow or something, you might be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, Munchlax doesn't beat Spectrier, unfortunately. I think you're gonna have to run like, I don't know if Terra Normal Moltres or something is like good, but it could work maybe.
Well, actually, I beat a Spectrier with Munchlax in the last season. I ran Bulldoze, and then that dropped its speed enough for Meow to outspeed and kill with like Knock or Flower Trick. So there's a little tip for you if you need it.
I guess you could do that, yeah.
But it was like, gosh, I know it was a close one though. It was not reliable.
It's at least better than like drafting no normal at all, because you know like the Spectre is gonna be Shadow Ball, Draining Kiss, Willow, and then probably Nasty Plot or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think something you could do for this one. So you have a lot of. It's clear that you're gonna be bringing Snow a lot because you got Glowking, you got Obama Snow. Why not lean into the Alolan Sandslash? Either drop Terra on like Mens or Moltres or something. Give Terra to Sandslash, and hopefully with the extra points, try and like work around your fighting, ground, or flying weaknesses.
Yeah, or even just get like a better Ice type sweep thing, like Set Titan is one. I think that could be better than Sandslash, or more bringable at least.
Yeah,
I don't mind the Terra suggestion that you said. Could work out.
Yeah, I like Terra Moltres. Seems kind of cool.
I do think the biggest flaw, like I think the top 5 are pretty good. I think the bottom 5 is where it kind of starts going the wrong way. So maybe you could do the Snow Trace, you could just rework the entire bottom half, who knows. You'll figure it out. But I think there are a lot of flaws with the team, especially defensively, so you're gonna have to try to adjust for those.
Yeah, lots of really good knockoff users though, which I like.
Which one?
A lot of really good knockoff users.
Oh yeah.
He's got, I think, like Infernape, Tusk, Moon.
Sandslash and Empoleon as well. That's 5.
Pretty cool, yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Alright, let's move on to number 14, which is Nico, Robin, Isaac. The Wellspring, this is like literally the weirdest Wellspring team I've probably ever seen in my life. Like
Oh yeah.
weirdest structure ever.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, the first thing I always look at, like on the when I look at teams, is like hazard setters, because I think those are really important. And like
Hmm.
when I look at this one, all your hazard setters are bad. Like Ortorm is shit. I mean Domfan is not a good rocker in my opinion, because it wants more like it wants to spin, and then Domfan only gets like two to three turns a game. If you're running rocks on an Annihilate, that's kind of a waste. The Oxys is fine, I guess, but if you're gonna have to run like both rocks and spikes on it every single week, and not to mention even bring it every single week, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really believe in the Oxys defense. Nico knows this. He drafted it to prove me wrong, but I don't think.
Oh really?
Yeah, in
Well,
PGP
best of luck.
last year in PGP when we were making the teams, we wanted to give him Yuxi on team, and then he got into like, wait, the Oxys defense is better, and literally no one agreed. And then he ended up with Yuxi on his team anyway, but he still to this day thinks the Oxys is better.
Well, here we are giving him the underdog mentality to prove you wrong.
Go for it, buddy.
Yeah.
Also, let's look at the defensive flaws. Your flying resistance Ortworm, that's fucking terrible because Ortworm is unbringable. Really bad Pokemon. Fairy resist, once again, is Ortworm. And then Iron Moth, but Iron Moth, I guess it's not Terra here, but still, you don't really want to switch it into Fairy types all that much because most of them get ground or psychic coverage. It's gonna be tough for you to deal with, I believe.
Lot of U-turn users, which is
Yeah, that's
great. A lot of knockoff users, great taunt, great utility. Another classic lack of status that I'm seeing.
Good. Yeah.
I think yeah, it says right here.
The Oxys can run
Deoxys
T-Wave,
defense.
but as we said,
T-Wave and then
yeah, the Oxys has a lot of pressure to run like hazards already, so it's gonna be hard to fit in everything because you want recover, you want teleport, you want T-Wave, you want spikes, you want rocks, you want nightshade. Like there's a lot of moves it kind of needs every week.
I do like his speed tiers though. I think they're pretty solid.
Speed tiers are good, yeah. I wish
there's some overlap.
Yeah, I wish the top speed was a little bit better than Noivern, but it works. You have good speed, like you can boost more mod speed pretty well. Zoroark's a good scarf, Annihilate's a good scarf, so you have options.
Yeah. Wish you the best of luck with this Deoxys defense run that you're about to go on there, by the way. Excited to see it.
Yeah. Also, one thing I really don't like about this, like this is just a flaw of drafting, and you can really see like what it did to the rest of your draft. You pay a lot of points for Terra Wellspring. It's a very a lot of points. Like the price increases by a lot of points. So most people when looking at the Steam, they would Terra like the fucking Noivern or the Deoxys or Sylveon or whatever. But you decided to Terra your Annihilate, which is also like a 10 point or something increase, or maybe not that much, but you get the point.
Yeah.
So because of this, your draft literally has 3 good mons, the top 3, and then everything else is just fucking 10 pointers, which is really shit. Not even 10
Yeah, there's
pointers.
A huge drop off. There's a huge drop off.
The quality of mons is just very, very low. I don't think Domfan is good. I don't think Noivern is good. Like, I think the top 3 is good and everything else is bad.
Yeah.
It's just, you could have drafted some better mons, I think.
I mean, like base last year, I don't know if that's like, I haven't seen any notable usage out of it.
Have a Trick Room setter? Maybe the Oxys?
A Deoxys defense, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's another thing the Deoxys needs to do.
Trick Room, spikes and T-Wave and whatever, I don't know.
And then teleport out into the Glacier. Could do
Yeah.
that one game.
Wait, does it keep teleport in Paldex?
It does.
Okay,
okay. It's one of the only mons that still has teleport.
Really? Okay, that's good to know.
Oh, also your fire resists are Noivern and then Moth. Wellspring 2 after Terra, but you get the point. Not great.
Yeah, now I know that you're a Sylveon hater, is that right?
I think Sylveon's bad. If you want to use it this gen, you have to use it offensively, but I know Nico, he's gonna run Wish Pass like an idiot every week.
Yeah, I don't know. Just the quality of mons, I think, goes down after like once Noivern. Like Donphan, I think is solid, is usable. I mean that at least is a pretty good rocker spinner.
Yeah,
then
the removal is
there's
a strong
Neuburn.
point.
Yeah,
I think
good options for removal.
the strong points of the team are removal and pivots. So you're gonna have to try and heavily lean into those. But honestly, with this drop 3, they don't even synergize that. Like, okay, I fire them off at least kills like Terra Grass, but then I would just run Terra Dragon, and then what do you
Yeah.
do? It's gonna be
Go to Sylveon.
yeah, go Sylveon, sure.
Go Sylveon.
It's gonna be tough. I hope you make some trades, and if you go undefeated or nearly undefeated again like last time, I'll swallow my words. But I don't think it's gonna happen.
I hope it does. I hope the Deoxys defense goes crazy. I wish you luck.
We'll see. Then moving on to. Oh wait, actually, I was wrong.
Oh,
No, never mind. No, and number 13 we have Metal. There he is. There we go. Okay, so this team. This one I personally ranked last, but Greifside ranked it a little bit higher, so it ends
yeah.
up here. Basically, when you look at the team on a glance, it looks okay, right? Like all the mons drafted are decent, I think. The worst one is probably like Serena and Swallow, that's fine. All the mons are like high quality. But then you start looking at the type chart and then it just completely falls apart. Because we didn't draft steel. So that means we have not a single rock resist. Our fairy resist is swallowed. The steel resist is literally just Zapdos. I'm not gonna count Greninja. The ghost resist is Greninja. The dragon resist is Azumarill. The ice resist is Azumarill. The normal resist is just Lycanroc. So you can already see right off the bat that's a lot of defensive holes that makes the team incredibly easy to prep for. At least the hazards are good. There's no spin blocker, unfortunately. I would have liked to see Ghost on the team. Yeah, that's the most. Yeah, at least that's like the biggest flaws in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I rank this a little bit higher than you. I like the quality of mons.
Yeah.
Especially like the top 5 or 6. I like that you got good priority. Serena is gonna just spin. I don't know. Whatever. Swallow, I think is cool. You got great spikes, toxic spikes, nice U-turn, great pivots, great knock. But then, yeah, like you said, looking at a closer glance, there's some holes that it's just kind of like the team's going to be stretched thin, and it's kind of unavoidable to also acknowledge that your rock resist does not exist.
Literally, I would literally just lead. What if I even if I have to run like a sash lead, I would click rocks and then just spin block the Serena, and I know I'm gonna get like good chip on every single time he switches. So that's really nice in this team, I think.
Yeah, but I like how offensive it is in nature. I think you could put up good numbers, but it's just like being mindful of those big holes, those noticeable holes. Hope that you find a way to, yeah.
I think he fixes a lot of these issues by just adding his steel on. I don't know what he gets rid of, because like every mon on the team does kind of have a role. I think the most expendable one is Azumarill. You can like get a cheaper steel, get a cheaper water, maybe, you know, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's gonna be tough. I hope you make some trades because it's gonna be very needed.
Yeah, I'm just looking at what is available. I see that. Did Registeel? Oh, Registeel got taken. Wow.
Should be like Cobalion maybe. It doesn't really fix the fairy problem, but
no.
Let's see what else. The problem with most of the steals free, like our Charludon and Goodra, is that they just don't resist fairy or ice, which is a problem for him.
Yeah.
Is Bronzong free? No, it's not. Think it's gonna have to be Cobalion and then like maybe try to get another fairy resist somewhere. I don't know. Most of the steals are kind of bad at this point. Don't get Magnezone, that guy sucks.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out, I'm sure.
I have faith.
Alright. Moving on. Next up we have Keegan at number 12. Where is that guy? There he is.
The Olympic Flygon.
Yeah.
I will say these logos, by the way, are just they're off. They're like on point. They're nice with it in this division.
The OnlyFans flagons?
Is that what that is?
It says OF.
Oh wait. Oh shit. Okay, well now I like it even more. I didn't realize.
So,
Oh shoot. But
what
yeah,
are
I
we
like
thinking?
this.
What are we thinking?
I
Say?
I like Meowscarada. I think Meowscarada's your top speed is great. I think your speed tiers are okay. I mean, it gets kind of weird when you go down to Quillfish, Mesprit. Terra Hands seems a little bit kind of like out of place here. I don't really know, because you do have like a big ground weakness.
It's a bit of a weird mold draft with those two, yeah.
Yeah, and then your flying resist is Registeel, and I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Registeel in the modern day, because I know what is it? It lost like Seismic Toss and Toxic or something.
It doesn't have seismic toss, doesn't have toxic, so it's really reliant on like body press.
Body press, yeah,
like
and rocks. Yeah, I mean your hazards are pretty solid though, but unfortunately no removal, so you'll be forced to run boots on everything. Although, so your ground type is Ursaluna Blood Moon, who I think is a little bit fraudulent.
I think
that might be a hot take. That might
ground.
not be. No, I agree completely. I mean, I just ground with no rocks, and then this specific. I mean, it's just like
there's a reason he never really gets drafted too early, because he's just not, like, he's good, but he's not good, basically.
Yeah. At least you won't lose to Spectrier though.
Well, some of the issues I have with the team personally is that like the team, we already touched upon this great, like, but the team has really good hazards. It's a shame isn't like a better spin blocker than Dusknoir, but that's fine. My biggest issue with the team is that the speed tiers look okay, right? But then you realize above 100 we only have Meow and Chi-Yu, which Meow and Screamtail. But Screamtail it's good speed control, but it's not like a Revenger or something. So that means basically Meowscarada or Chi-Yu, one of the two, is going to have to be scarfed every game, which isn't necessarily bad. But then you counter you take into account the fact that he doesn't have removal. So then Chi-Yu is going to take rocks every single time. Meowscarada is like, if you get rocks and spikes up, which is, I would do that in a team with no removal, then they're just going to take a lot of damage every single time they come in to try and revenge things, which is going to be really annoying. You can even try to get up D-spikes if you're thinking the Quillfish isn't coming, and then everything is just going to get poisoned, you know? Yeah. So I just don't like it. Like, the offensive pairing is nice, but I think you're going to have to play very aggressively, which is going to be hard with a team where the main offense is really slow, and then it's just like too fast. Like, Chi-Yu isn't even fast, it has to run Scarf, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're probably going to have to rely a lot on your webs or just like your T-Wave stand, because you got some good Thunderwave users. You got Screamtail, Registeel, and then Quill and Mesprit, who is a cool mod. I like Mesprit, but I think you're going to be relying a lot on that specific strat, slowing down the game, because you got good top speed, but then it just kind of gets awkward as you go along a little bit.
And that's of course a problem if you're trying to like wall things and T-Wave things. You're gonna be taking a lot of chip damage if you keep switching, which is gonna be annoying for this team. Everything is grounded also, literally everything but Mesprit, so spikes are super good into this team. It's also your only ground resist, by the way, Mesprit. I'm not really counting Meowscarada on spit ups, because spit ups shouldn't come very often. Meow isn't a viable switch in. Chi-Yu is your only fire resist together with Quillfish, which isn't amazing. Same goes for water. It's just Quillfish and Meowscarada. I think those are some really big flaws defensively, which is gonna make your team pretty easy to break certain matchups and might force you to run defensive Terras and Iron Hands more often than you'd like.
Yeah, I just think it's unfortunate that there's no hazard removal. You might be forced to run Taunt on your Meowscarada sometimes.
For sure, even if it's just like, I don't know, a 5-point spinner, I would love to see one included on the team. I think as much as good as they are, I think Mesprit and Screamtail could maybe be reworked into like cheaper options, or at least one of them. and then you can like rework the bottom mons a little. I don't think Quillfish is super needed when you have Meowscarada and Spit Ups for spikes. You know, you can get away with that. I would try to like rework it a little bit, see what you can do, because the flaws are too big for me to think this team is really gonna succeed. It's a little bit like last season, you know, with your Spectre team. You also didn't have removal, and everyone just claimed the spikes in your frame 1, and you were just in the giant back foot the entire game.
That's gonna be tough, but I wish you luck, and I'm excited to see you use Urson of Blood Moon, hopefully properly. I've never seen it used properly. I've never used it properly, but I wish you luck, and I'm excited to see it.
I've never used it. We'll see.
It's very underwhelming. It takes up all your points, and it just never comes.
Okay, moving on to number 11, we have Techno. This team. I wanted to put it last so bad because I just don't like it, but
He's got Charles Cyclozar though.
it works. Unironically, it works as a team. It's just very, very, very low quality.
Yeah, I don't understand how a lot of them kind of. I don't see a lot of how these mons kind of mesh together.
See,
I don't know. It's kind of tough.
Yeah, it's just because all of these mons are like a lot of these are just bad. But like the biggest thing I don't understand is you have third pick, Dragapult and Iron Valiant get taken, and then you look at the draft board and you see, oh, Spectre is free, Great Tusk is free, or maybe I can get Meowscarada or Darkrai or maybe Terapagos. Nah, I'm gonna get Golden Go.
Get Golden Go.
Why?
you got Terrakeldeo, Terra Kingambit, which is pretty cool. I'm a big fan of the Terrakeld. Your rocks options are solid. Your spikes and your toxic spikes, you're extremely limited to just Mew.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets a little bit freaky as you go along. Although the ground, nothing is weak to ground per se, besides like the gold, Kingambit, whatever. But your only real resist is just your immunity, Rotom Heat.
Yeah, so that means
So it's a little bit awkward.
Rotom is, my opinion on Rotom Heat is that it's bad defensively, decent offensively, but overall I wouldn't really draft it because it's just not that good of a mon. It's forced into boots a lot. To really do anything. Scarf or Specs best sets in my opinion. But yeah, with this, it's gonna have to come into ground types every time because what else are you switching in, right? Like maybe a defensive Mew, but it doesn't have recovery. Air Balloon Gold. Aside from that, what are your options? I don't really see any. I guess Mudsdale can take like a hit, but
yeah, I think you're really limited in how you're going to be team building, especially with that Rotom and also the Mew.
For sure, yeah. It just feels like a very underwhelming team with a lack of a round 1 pick. Kingambit being the best mon on the team is really bad.
And the best one on the team is Charles Cyclozar, by far.
Sure. I will say, utility-wise, this is a good team. Like you have a lot of status spam, you have good knockers, stuns, you have Encore, Fable, and Mew, I guess. Like we said, the Spiker is shit. That's kind of, I mean, it's not bad, but like it's relying on Mew, which is kind of limiting it a bit. I don't love that. I wish I had a few more pivots, but that's all really. I think it's an okay team. I just wish it had better mons.
Yeah, I think you're gonna be forced to prep well and play well, and I think your prep's gonna be limited a little bit, but there's potential. I think as long as you just play out of your mind, then yeah. So I wish you luck.
Wishing everyone good luck today.
Well, you know, I'm just trying to put out some good vibes out there.
Good guy.
There's some heavy hitters in this division, so I'm wishing them all luck. I'm excited to see how this legendary season
should be a good one. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. At number 10, we have Corey, fan favorite.
Yes, Corey with the
Zarude.
Victory Valiance and the Terra Zarude.
Well, first off, I think the hazards are really bad. Jirachi is forced to run rocks every single week, unless you want to bring Fortress weekly, but I wouldn't want to do that.
No.
And then Fortress, let's talk about some more. It is the only spiker on the team, it is the only T-spiker, it is the only form of removal. So that's a lot of pressure on Fortress. It has to do a lot of things, and it's the worst one on the team, so that's kind of sad.
Yeah, you're blessed by the fact that you have Terra Zarud, who can do
Yep.
everything and anything all at once.
So we're just gonna have to
Your
carry the
ground,
team.
yeah, you got two grounds. Only one of them knows rocks is Doug Trio.
I generally
And that's
don't know.
also
I don't know what
your.
the Doctor is doing here.
I mean, he's got arena trap, so something might happen.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
that's your top C besides the Iron Bundle, of course. You got some solid pivots, so it is possible to do some arena trap nonsense. Your only knockoff user is going to be that Terra Zarut, though. Steel Jirachi. I'm not sure about you. I think Jirachi is a little bit underwhelming in this gen.
I think it's
But
okay for what is like. It's clearly drafted here as like a rocker, healing wish, utility, whatever. I think it's fine for what it is on this team.
yeah. But you're gonna be running rocks on that pretty much always, I feel.
Okay. Some more flaws on the team, in my opinion, is that the only knocker is Zarud, which Zarud's a very good knocker, but it being the only one is kind of unfortunate. And then I like the Duck Trio. I don't like. I feel like the only possible reason you could have drafted Duck Trio was either you want to trap steals for bundle or something, or you just wanted to fill the speed tier. But surely
I think it was speed and also just rocks, I guess.
surely we can, like, it's 8 points. That's a lot of points for something that's like, why would you ever bring Duck Trio over Ursalune? I just don't know why you would do that. I think it's like a good lead, I guess, if you want to go for like rocks and then whatever. But I don't like it. I really don't think it's like the Duck Trio ruins the team. Rotom in general has a lot of pressure every week, being the only real ground and water resist after Zarud Terras, which it will, because it's your only Terra captain. So that's something to be mindful of. And then, like, just look in general, like looking at the team, I think it's a very passive team. Like, you're gonna rely on Zarud and Bundle to do all the heavy lifting, which isn't great because Zarud heavily relies on setup. Iron Bundle needs like specs to do real damage, and Ursaluna obviously is a good Pokemon, but it's very slow and it's not going to be great into every single matchup. So I think you've limited yourself here offensively quite a bit. Maybe this is a team where Nasty Plot Rotom might thrive, or like Meteor Beam Jirachi might have to come more often than you would like, or Calm Mind, whatever the hell floats your boat, I suppose. I wish there was some more offense. Remove the Duck Trio. I don't know what Skelder just necessarily doing here. I think you have enough fat guys, but you know, more power to you. Anything else you want to add, my friend?
I'm pondering about what else we could probably suggest, but I feel like you hit the nail on the head. I think that is just kind of a little bit unfortunate that Fortress is the only removal, and you got to bring that.
Literally, Fortress has to come every week, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking about ways that we can kind of.
Let's look at the draft board. Is there a spinner or something like that free?
I feel like they got all of them. I was just looking through them.
It's probably not right now. There's Mandibus. Your houses are pretty bad anyway. You could at least get like a good defogger. I don't see spinner. The first one, like the most expensive spinner I've encountered, is Regieleki, which is the same price as Fortress anyway, so we might as well keep it.
Okay. I guess you could go like maybe like Mousehold with the tidy up, maybe.
Mousehold.
Mousehold.
Fuck off. I mean, I guess it's the same speed tier as Duck Trio or something like that, right? Maybe.
Yeah. It's possible. I'm just saying that just because your hazard options are kind of just like, I don't know. They're not great because Fortress is going to be bringing the same set every single week. You got Rapid Spin, Spikes, Volt, and then whatever last move, and then Jirachi's probably going to want to be Rocks as well every single week or almost every single week. So I don't know. It's a little bit tough.
For sure, yeah. I think that's about it. I think we've covered it all, so let's move on to number 9, which is Henguini, I think it's pronounced.
Henguini.
Henguini. Whatever the hell.
Henguini, I think.
Yeah, kind of sounds Italian. I think this is a very great logo because I fucking hate Pelipper.
Ban Drizzle lols.
I think this is the first team that I think after from this point on I think the teams are gonna get better. This team is
Yeah, I like
really
this
good in my
team.
opinion. Yeah.
You got Magikarp at the end there. That's your mascot.
Aura pick.
Yeah, I like this team. I like the hazard options. You got a great spinner, Treads. Your Terra captains, I feel, are phenomenal. I mean, I think an AMT is kind of underrated most times. Rapid Strike is great. And you're allowed to lose that water type just because you got that Araquanid in the back.
For sure.
That pressure of webs, I feel, is going to be huge for you. And you also got Miss Magius, which I don't think is like a really great spin blocker, but
It's good enough.
it could be. Yeah, it's good enough. And it also is a pretty solid ground immunity. Speaking of ground immunities, there are 4 of them, which I think is insane. but but I think beyond that, I think it's a solid team. You got some pretty cool knockoff users. I think Dio speed is really dependent on how you prep. If you're confident in that, I think the right set will win you the game most times. Great status options. Your flying resist is going to be that Treads, so I think that at that point there's going to be some pressure on it.
There's actually a lot of pressure on Treads because it's the only flying and electric resist. It's also
true.
the only rock resist along with Urshifu, and then it's also the only fairy resist along with Salazzle. So there's a lot of pressure on Treads to be defensive every week.
Yeah, I just noticed there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 electric weaknesses. Yep. Wow.
I mean, 2 of those are the shit monsters, okay, but yeah. You can basically say 4 because Magikarp is never coming.
No, come on now. That's the mascot right there.
Yeah, maybe one time when he's made playoffs and he just wants to show up.
No, but I think most times you're probably going to be tearing the Enam into a ground type or something.
Yeah, okay, so looking at some more things I like and dislike, I think the hazards are good, but I wish there was maybe one more rocker. So at least Treads or Dio don't love running hazards. Dio thrives when it's an offensive set. So I would have liked to see that, but it's fine. Removal's really good, obviously. Pivots are really shit. It's literally just your Shifu, I guess, and then Squawkabilly's never coming, and I don't really think Treads loves running Volt Switch, so you're gonna have to put a lot of doubles to get your offensive guys in, I think.
Yeah. I got faith though. Make some crazy plays.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good player. I kind of wish there was another Fastmon on the team that is more bringable than Salazzle, because you're gonna have to heavily rely on Deoxys to revenge kill things, which again means it doesn't really want to run hazards all that often, unless you're gonna bring an offensive Salazzle. A lot of your mons really appreciate webs, so I really like the Araquanid pick a lot. Obviously paired with Miss Mages is pretty good, and I think the offense just plays into each other nicely, so that should be cool. I think this is a good team in general.
Yeah, he's got good priority as well with Jet from Rapid and then E-Suite from Dragonite. But I can see him kind of being forced to go with Scarf a lot of time on that Rapid Strike.
One thing I think you are going to be seeing a lot in your matches is Terra Water mons, because you don't have a grass type and you don't have electric type, and in general water is pretty good into your best mons. It's good into Treads, it kind of neutralizes Urshifu's best move. You don't really have a lot of things. Obviously you can't hit it for stab, you don't have a lot of mons that can actually hit it with decent coverage, so you're gonna have a hard time breaking those Terra Water mons, you know? I think those are gonna come a lot against you.
Yeah, I agree. Best of luck to you, though. I hope it works out.
I'm sure.
You have a great season.
Alright, so then we move into the top 8. And number 8 we have Tereso. the most glazed person of all time.
Quite possibly one of the greatest PokeTubers of all time. You know, he's getting up there.
Dude, his videos are
Happy
really
for
funny.
him.
I watched one of his videos he made on his team, and I thought it was great.
Oh, of this team?
Yeah, he did like a draft
Oh,
analysis.
I gotta watch that after this. Subscribe to Terizo. But as for his team, I like this team a lot. I think it has
Yeah,
the sauce. There's lots of offense. It's a very balls to the wall mentality,
yeah. It's a
and
very
I can
yeah.
see. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's a very good team, very high quality mons. There's just a few flaws that like hold it back from like being one of the best teams, I think.
Yeah, like I can see use in every mon. I can see you bringing every mon at least once,
Mhm.
but those holes, there's some obvious ones. The biggest one, no removal. You got two knockoff users. Your only fairy resists are your two low tiers, and then Weezing needs to be grounded to absorb T spikes.
Yep. I think you're gonna have to really try and predict, like with Hatterene, try and predict the turns when hazard mites go up to like delay them, because obviously your top two really wants rocks to stay off the field. Your hazards are very good, which I like. Samurott is the best spiker in the game, or one off, and you have some competent rockers, so that should be okay.
Yeah, I just don't think a Hattering is enough for.
Yeah, it's just definitely
You
not.
should probably get a spinner.
It's like all you have. So I would like to see Spinner added to the team. But yeah, at least for now it's the best you can do. I think your pivots are pretty shit. Like you only have 3. Obviously they're all decent pivots, but I think a team like this might want more. Maybe, I don't know. Sinistcha will often be forced into defensive role due to the lack of water resist on the team. Same with Bronzong, but I mean it's your only ice resists. With like Samurott also resists those types, but it's not really good, you know.
Yeah.
And then I think the Spectre and Dragapult matchups are just straight up unwinnable. Your Ghost resist is Samurott. You like, what are you gonna maybe like Terra Fairy Torn into the pull and Terra Normal into Spectre, but still, that's not amazing, you know.
That's a little bit tough. I'm looking at spinners right now. So there's Aleki, who we talked about. There's also Tatsugiri, and then one thing that I just saw right here. So Torkoal is available. So if you maybe want to enable that gouging protosynthesis, that is an option.
Don't draft Torkoal if you want the spinner. It's so fucking bad.
Yeah.
And then also, you should be thanking me that I drafted a Terrakion for you, otherwise your only dark resist would also be the Samurott, which...
Wow. Did he say that in the video too?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good little shout
He
out.
went to sleep and he was like, get me Sandy Shocks and Lycanroc Dusk, but if you see something better than those guys, you can change it, and I drafted Terrakion instead.
Wow. Saved his butt with that one.
Literally. Like I said in the beginning, I think the quality of mons is very high. I think you're gonna probably do fine, but there are too many flaws to set it apart from the better teams.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big balls to the wall mode this season for you. I feel, which I like the team. I think it's very cool, but hopefully you can find a way to play around those holes.
Time to prove why you got drafted in DPL, my friend. Okay, let's move on to number 7, I believe, which is Slayer Holfin, the Munchlax. This might be the best logo in the division.
I don't know. I'm back and forth on that OnlyFans Flygon. Now that I see it, that just moved up in my. We'll do that after. We'll do a tier list on the logos. But I will say this is definitely top 3. This is definitely top 3.
For sure.
Did you? I wonder. Did he draw this himself? He had to, right?
Probably. Surely.
Okay.
He was one of the last guys to submit his logo, so I think he did.
Okay, well, all that time spent towards this, yeah, it was clearly worth it. I like the drawing. Solid.
Speaking about the team though, I think the team is the quality of mons is really good. All mons are bringable, even Avalok has its matchups, so that I really like that. Looks good on a first glance.
Yeah, no, I like it. You got a great fast pivot in Cinderace and a great slow pivot in your Scizor, and then I like Thunderous Theory as your secondary Terra captain after Necrozma.
for
Excited
sure.
to see what you do with that. Great hazard options in both Necrozma and Chomp. Your only spikes user is gonna be that Chomp though, so kind of limits it a little bit.
Yeah, I think Garchomp is gonna be
Uh,
forced into hazard bot role a lot,
yeah,
and then when you're running like skill shot sets, you're just gonna have to not run hazards basically.
yeah. Your Ghost resist is gonna be that Scrafty, so just be mindful of that Draining Kiss coming your way from Spectrier.
hmm
Um, but I like the team. I think that I agree with you. There's a lot of really great quality here. I think all
hmm
mons are bringable. Uh, Decidueye, I feel, gets a lot of hate, but I think
Yeah,
I think it works well on this team here. It's a great spin blocker for you. It's got
I
great priority.
I like the fact that he drafted like okay spinner is shit, but then he has two decent defoggers, which because of the hazards
Yeah,
being pretty shit, it's fine, right? He can get away with it.
yeah,
Some
that
things
was solid.
some things I don't love about the team is that the speed heavily relies on Cinderace, which means like other than that your fastest one is Garchomp with 102, which isn't fast at all. So you're gonna have to heavily rely on Cinderace and Scizor with priority to like revenge things because I don't really love Scarf Garchomp this gen. Necrozma needs setup. Thunderous isn't really a Scarf for it, I think. So yeah, you're gonna have to really rely on Cinderace to revenge and put on offensive pressure, which might be a bit annoying for you.
Yeah, Cinderace has a lot of pressure put on it just because I'm also I put this a little bit on the lower end for me because there's no grounded poison.
Yeah,
And
and it
also
seems
there's no
very
toxic spikes user of your own. And also your status is gonna be Wisp on the Ace, which it does
hmm
not want to run, and then Thunderwave on the Thunderous, which it does not want to
yeah.
run. So it's gonna be a little bit tough.
I do think I like as much as a problem as this, I do think it's okay because he has such a hyper offense focused team that I think the games are going to go by really fast to the way that he might get away with it. But he does have
Oh
like
yeah, for sure.
core change Cinderace which might like maybe scare people out of running these spikes. So
It
it's
definitely
fine.
caused some hesitation, yeah.
hmm I think it'll be okay. I know this guy too. I've mocked with him like we used to do weekly mocks for seasonal, so I know like how he plays. He's a pretty good player. I
Okay,
think he
nice.
should be able to handle himself just fine.
Awesome. Best of luck to him.
But the flying resist being Thundy is a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's also a flaw, but other than that, really good team. And even the poison issue is very easily fixable. I think you could
Yeah.
probably maybe get a cheaper dark or something like that. I don't know.
I'm wondering if it's worth it to get just a shitter normal type or something for that
I
Spectrier.
don't think it
Unless you.
is because you have Necrozma, which can run Terra Normal into the Spectre
Okay, yeah,
matchup
that's
and be
fine.
completely fine. And then also you have good priority in Scizor. You have maybe like Scarf Cinderace or Sucker Punch Cinderace. I think you have options
And then
to the
Shadow
point where
Sneak. Yeah,
it's
Shadow Sneak on
yeah.
Decidueye.
Oh yeah, true. I mean that's not gonna do much, but
No, it's
I
a
think he has
Decidueye.
options. It also depends if he even has Spectre on his schedule, of course, because he might just not.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I like the team.
moving on to number 6 is JCJ02.
The North Melbourne Kangaskhan's.
This is a very cool team. Terapagos,
Yeah,
Ogrepon.
it's kind of scary.
Yeah, his hazards are very good.
Yeah,
Very good spiker, very good rockers, top 2 spinner in the game, so that's really nice to have the good hazard control. Yeah, utility is looking pretty nice actually. You have one of the
yeah, I like
best
his speed on
Ogre.
here too, because he also got Terra Ogrepon.
Yeah. Speaking of Terra Ogrepon though, I don't love that it's the only Terramon on the team because it's so like this team is very easy to prep for in a sense because you know Ogrepon is always Terra Grass and it's pretty easy to like take advantage of that with like a Mirror Herb or something like that. I don't know. And yeah, like you don't have flexibility. Like if there was like a Terra Serra ledge, you'd at least have that. But it's just Ogrepon, which is a bit unfortunate, I think.
Yeah, your flying resist and your dragon resist is Skarmory, which I feel like might be fine.
Well,
but
into physical
it'll be a little
ones,
bit tough. Yeah.
physical, yeah, but unfortunately most good flying types are special.
So it's gonna be a little bit difficult, but
That's
I like
a
your
problem
priority
too.
here. You got Sarah Ledge and Weavile. Nice physical wall breaker in the Weavile. Maybe Okidoki Flygon, but also really great special attackers and Tarop and Lando.
Hmm. It's a good offensive-ish team. I think it'll do
Yeah.
fine. But like we said, there are a few defensive flaws on the team. There's only two rock resists, which are both really bad. That's another one as well. Okidogi isn't great, and Flygon is pretty shit. Um, Slowking has a lot of pressure on the team, seeing as it's the only water and fire resist. And then Flygon obviously for fire as well, but that isn't amazing. And then yeah, I think the team relies on setup a little bit too much, because like Terrap, Ogrepon, Weavile, even Ceruledge are all mons that kind of need setup to really do a lot of damage. So that's maybe not the best. Like a lot of these mons are really frail, you know.
Yeah.
And defensively, this team is pretty easy to crack because there's a few weaknesses and everything is frail. So you're gonna have to take a bit of a hyper offense approach to most matchups if you keep the team the way it is, I believe.
I was gonna say this team is pretty weak to priority of its own as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. How are you beating a zoom rail, man? You can just load on Bandit Aquajet and kill everything.
So that Slowking's there for. Put
Yeah.
that helmet on there.
Yeah,
It'll be a little
until
bit
it
tough.
switches into a bandit player up and dies.
Okay, I Terra Grass. Done.
It's not Terra.
Shoot, I trade for, I don't know, I lose. I guess. No, but I do like the team though. I do enjoy. I think especially your top six, I feel like are pretty solid. I think Slow King is great as a slow pivot to get in your fast guys, Lando and Ogrepon safely, and Weavile. But yeah, there's some issues that I feel like might be okay to play around. But even then, yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit difficult, but I do like your team.
Okay. Moving on to number, which is it, 5? Yeah,
I think so.
5, 5, 5. Okay, I actually really like this team. Number 5, we have Batman with the Sneasler, Inam, Latios, their Drill.
Oh yeah, I do like this team.
I put it at third personally, but you put it a little bit lower.
I think I put it for me at like 5 or 6.
Could be. Let's look at the positives. I think the speed tiers are super good. It doesn't rely on Drill being like the revenge killer in Sand, which I really like. Offensive synergy between the top 4 is super good because with Sneasler and Am you might want to be like, oh, I'm gonna run Terra Poison, but then Latios and Drill bully that really hard, so it's very nice. There's actually a good amount of pivots on the team, which I like, because on Sand teams, like getting Drill and T-Tar in as much as you can is very important, and the pivots that you have are going to help doing that quite a bit. And then, yeah, I really like the overall structure on the team. I don't really know why Karuki is here, but he's here, I guess.
That's just for the Sneasler, I guess, that to
Yeah,
keep that
I know,
your
but
opponents on your
I
toes.
know, but like when you're gonna be using Terra Drill, I feel like you're better off just like scarfing or abandoning your Sneasler and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's a little bit. But I guess so. So you put this at your 3 slot.
Yeah.
I put this a little bit lower just because looking at this as like if I'm the one that's prepping to battle you, the hazard. There's no real like
Yeah, it's just T-Tar
threat for me. Yeah, there's just T-Tar, Ogopar, and then Drill, but Drill's not going to want run like rocks. So I'm less inclined to respect the hazard options that you have, which I think was huge for me at least. That was one of my biggest flaws. But you got some pretty cool resistances. I like your speed tiers. Latios, Hearthflame, sharing that 110 slot, I feel like is okay. I think Heartflame is pretty cool. But yeah, I think you got a great top 5, me personally.
For sure, yeah.
So I'm excited to see what happens. Also, Frostmoth in the back with that quiver dance. Gonna be pretty cool.
For all small. Also, one small thing I like is that you drafted Blastoise, which frees up Excadrill a lot because Excadrill doesn't love spinning when it's like the big Terra guy. So I like that.
Or you could defog with Frostmoth.
Well, I don't do that.
Some little quiver dance defog action.
Yeah. And then like type chart wise, I think the team is pretty fine as well. Like your fighting resists are maybe a bit wonky because your top 3 doesn't love switching in on fighting types that much, but I think you'll be fine. And maybe your rock resists are a little shit, but other than that, I think your team is fine. You should be okay.
Yeah, I like the team. The team's cool.
Yes. So with that said, let's move on to number 4, which is Rapid Flames. This is basically in season 10 he was in Mythical together with his friend Chris, and Chris ended up winning the season, and he had like a team with Dragapult, Iron Moth, Urshifu Single, Corvid Knight, Swampert, Florges, so he just he literally drafted that team and then changed it up a little bit. So it's obviously it's gonna be a good team because it won the season. You know?
Yeah. So I mean, there it is. It's got winning experience. I also wanted to point out. So this is the Trick Room Abusers, right? That's the name.
Yeah.
And your only Trick Room Mon is Azelf. What's up with that?
That's very bad. But the hazard game is super strong here. You have 3 very bringable rockers. The spikes rely a bit on Chestnut, which is okay, I think. Removal is being defog is a bit unfortunate because of that, because you have like a good spin blocker, you have good rockers, so I wish you would have maybe picked up a spinner, but you know, you'll probably manage. There's very good offensive synergy between the first 3. This is probably a team where offensive Heatran is really going to thrive, especially seeing as it's like your secondary Terra. It's going to threaten the fairies that want to come in on Pult and Shifu, and you can like pivot out, like if you're clicking a U-turn with any of them, and then bring Heatran in, click Terra, blah whatever, do click buttons. I think it works very well.
Yeah, I just think it's a well-rounded team and it checks all the boxes. Speed tiers have some gaps in them, I feel, between Pult and then Azelf and then Single Strike that you have over there. But yeah, I mean, you got some cool hazard options, a lot of U-turn spam, which is going to be really nice. You're Ghost weak, but Chestnut has Bulletproof as a Shadow Ball switch in, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, I like how well-rounded it is, and if it has winning experience with your friend in Mythical, then hey, that's pretty cool.
For sure. I think defensively, Ice and Ghost stand out as the 2 biggest weaknesses, as said, because Pex shouldn't come to too many games, and if Heatran Terras, you have no Ice resist, but other than that, I think you should be fine. Oh yeah, and the team is very slow. It relies almost entirely on Pult and Azelf, which will be annoying, probably.
Yeah, just bring Azelf to Trick Room.
I think Azelf is gonna have to come to pretty much every game. Or if it doesn't come, you have to basically guarantee it brings Scarf or Shifu. Or you have no speed control other than Dragapult, which is a bit annoying. But I mean, I like Azelf, so I wouldn't mind bringing it every week.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could bring it in just T-Wave stuff. You got some good Thunder Wave users in Azelf, Pult. I feel like it limits them a little bit, but yeah, you might need to rely on them just a bit more than you probably want to.
But I think you should be fine. There's really not a lot wrong with the team, so good luck to you, my friend.
Best of luck.
And then at number 3 we have Isaac, the Spectre team. Where is he? Can't find him. There he is. I think this is a really good Spectre team for once. It's very well supported. Should be very good.
No, I like. I mean, clearly he watched the wagon video, right?
I don't know if he did actually.
Maybe
really? Maybe he's just a genius.
He's He should make his own video then.
Yeah.
No, but there's a lot of really solid utility there
Yeah.
designed to support his horse. I thought he watched the wagon video because he got Tinglu, Tinkaton, Glamora, Alomomola. I mean, a lot of stuff that can absorb knockoff.
Zapdos is a really good knock switching as well.
Yeah, and then there's a couple. There's like a little bit of a glaring fairy weakness. I feel. So you got Tinkaton, but I guess that's it. And then Glamora. So it's a little bit tough. Ting Lu, I don't know if he's that guy. I could be wrong. Because I feel like Ting Lu wants to keep its typing in the battle most of the time with this team structure.
But I mean, at the same time, at the same time, like what else would you Terra? Maybe Glamora?
Yeah, there's no great substitutes, so I guess it's fine.
I think Terra Glamora would have been maybe slightly better, but overall, I think it's okay.
Yeah, but great hazards, great removal. You got Brambleghast in the back. Really great status. Latias, nice with the Healing Wish if you need it. But yeah, no, I think it's a really solid team, and I rated it high. I like it, and this is a really good Spectre team. I think you're on track to put your horse up for success.
I'm looking at some flaws on the team. I think your pivots are really bad. It's literally just Zapdos and Alomomola, which is great. And then your top speed isn't really good as well, because the only real speed comes from Spectre and Latias, which isn't like Latias isn't super good offensively this gen. It's more of like a Healing Wish support guy, you know. And then Zapdos is obviously a really good Scarfer, but that's kind of where it ends as well. Maybe Glamora, it's decent, but not really how you want to play it on this kind of team, I think. Also 13 pick Spectre is crazy, by the way. Your diff is trolling.
Yeah.
I also like that you picked Brambleghast as a spin blocker, or like even Sableye. Maybe the Sableye was a little bit overkill, but like it really means you're gonna have to you don't have to spin block with Spectre and keep up the hazards with Tinglu and Glamora decently well, because Bramble is a decent spin blocker into like Tusk, Treads, on all the water guys. It should be. I think Bramble fits on the team nicely.
Yeah, I think you are supporting Spectre exceptionally well.
For sure.
And I'm excited to see what you do with it.
Not much to say. Even maybe the biggest flaw I see is that Tinkaton is your only dragon resist. So like if you're facing ones like Garchomp, you're gonna have to be very careful around that. But that's pretty much it. Otherwise your team is pretty fine defensively.
Yeah.
And then we're moving into the top 2, which actually was a tie. So we did a coin flip, and unfortunately Cummer lost the coin flip, so Sturgeon is at number 2. The Modest Pelipper's. This is a really good, cool team. You rated it. You rated it first,
I love this
so
team.
You can start.
Let me. I'm trying to find the page. Modest Pelipper's.
It's right next to the one we just did.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. No. So, Terra Hydrapple. Wow. I mean, dang. And then Terra Quaquaval, the duck. So you got really strong options for wall breaking on both the physical and special side. Darkrai is awesome. Crazy knockoff span. The team doesn't really appreciate knock being used against it too much. There's no real reliable knock absorber, since Quack enjoys having an item most times, whether that's like choice vest, like boots,
Weezing
a berry, or like live orb. Yeah. Terra Hydrapple, again, I think it's great. It's picking up steam since that generational run in the DLWC, and I think that both it and Darkrai are enabled because of Metagross. I think that those three have really great synergy. You got some really reliable removal, but the team can be a little weak to T-Spike since Guizing wants to be running Levitate most times. But I think that this team is extremely threatening. Your top 6 work great. Mamoswine, I feel, is like a pretty underrated pick most times, because a lot of these teams that we're covering have an ice weakness, and you got strong ice shard. You can exploit that. And of course, Gradient at the very end there. I think it's just a really solid team, and I think it's scary to prep for too because you also got the best lead in the game, Cornerstone. So
Best lead in
it's a
draft
cool
league.
team. I love the
Mhm.
team. It's a cool team.
So we've talked about the good. Now let's talk about the bad. I think disclaimer that there isn't a lot wrong with the team, but
Yeah.
the pivots are kind of shit. Quackville doesn't necessarily love running U-turn, so you're kind of limited to just Overpawn and Electros, which is a little bit unfortunate. Speed-wise, like your speed tiers look good on a glance, but then like Overpawn is obviously item locked, so Darkrai is very good top speed, but then your Scarf options are pretty limited in that, I think, because it's like Quackville doesn't really, I mean, it can run Scarf, it's a decent Scarfer, but then it can't really run SD or something like that. Delphox obviously isn't an amazing Scarfer, so the best next one is like Mamoswine, which isn't like, I don't really believe in Mamoswine all that much this gen. So I think you're gonna have
You're
to
wrong.
rely
Just
on
watch.
Darkrai a lot to be, maybe even Scarf at some matchups, because your speed other than those two is kind of meh. There's also a gap between Delphox and Quackville, obviously. And then defensively, your team is good. There's only one weakness I could really spot, which is if you Terra the Hydrapple, you will be very weak to water, because Quackville is then the only resist. So be mindful
Yeah,
of
that's a
that.
good point.
But that's really it. Otherwise, it's a very good team. Cryset covered it all very well. You should be on track to maybe promote to Fusion, my friend.
Yeah. I cannot believe you dissed Mamoswine like that. Just watch. Trailblaze Mamoswine. About to go crazy.
I don't love it. That said, let's move on to number one, which is the team I drafted.
Yeah, wait,
Not
so
biased,
so
not biased,
yeah,
but
when I showed you my rankings and then you
yeah.
said, good that you put it so high, and I was like, wait, this is the one that you drafted. So I guess good job to you and not
Yeah. Dude, KHD can't draft to save his life, that's why he asked me. But yeah, KHD, here we are. I think that like obviously he got first pick. I kind of wished he would have picked Pull, but he insisted on Valiant, so whatever. I think the top three work super nicely together. It's like Lando Iron Crown. You've seen it a lot in like a billion team tours. It's a very common core. And then at round 4 we were like, what's the best really big offensive guy, you know, that pairs well with Valiant. That was like still on the board and it was back, so we took it. I think it's a really good top 4, and then obviously you have the support picks, right? You have Rapid Spin, Tentacruel, you have the top speed and Talonflame, Spiker and Quillfish, and then like just a decent secondary captain, because like if you're without the Raikou, the speed was just really limited to like Valiant and Talonflame. So I wanted like another fast guy on the team to like help out, take some pressure off Valiant. And then the Minior was just Aura.
I wonder what color he's gonna be bringing every week.
Probably pink. He's gay.
Oh,
It's not actually.
pink Minior is cool. Oh, okay. That's crazy. No, the Minior is cool. Yeah, this is when I was going through these rankings, this is the first time I found out Minior gets rocks. That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't notice. I didn't notice
Yeah.
either at first, but then I was like, oh wait, we could actually like as a lead, it could be like cool. You
Yeah.
rocks
No,
and then you do some damage. You know.
yeah, on the topic of rocks, so just that and Lando, and then Spikes is
Yeah.
just Overquill, which I think is a little bit unfortunate, but it's like it's okay, I
It
guess.
is, yeah. We actually wanted
Um,
I wanted Lycanroc over Raikou, but it ended up getting sniped. So
oh,
yeah,
unfortunate.
we had
That
to
would have
pivot
been
to
cool.
Minior, yeah.
Okay,
But yeah,
but Terra Iron Crown I think is great, and then Baxcalibur, ooh, monster. Tentacle I think is, in my opinion, one of the better spinners in this gen. Um,
I don't
I know
love
you
it.
hate
I
Tentacruel.
don't really
Yeah,
like. I just think it's a very do nothing mon, but it's decent for what it adds to the team. Round 5, it's like okay, we can probably get
Yeah.
it now.
I like the team a lot. I think it's cool. I think it's hard to prep against, and
Yeah.
at this point, I'm just kind of, I guess, complimenting you in a way because this is your team that you drafted.
I mean,
So
it's like I
good
said.
job to you.
It's like I said. I just think there are less flaws with this team than like. I mean, basically not any flaws. Like there's the biggest flaw on the team is like that Spectre could be like a little troublesome because Overquill is the ghost resist. But even then, you
Yeah.
can can run like a Terra normal crown if you really want to, right? Like it's not like you don't have options. The hazards are maybe like a little bit of weak point. I think Overquill is a really good spiker. Lando is a really good rocker, but it does kind of limit them a bit in how you use them. But yeah, that's pretty much it flaw-wise. I think defensively there's not really any big weaknesses, one that stand out anyway, so should be fine. I think you'll have a good season.
It's gonna be awesome. You just bring top 4, and then your last 2 are just whoever you have out of the remaining 5, and then just click some buttons and you're gonna go crazy with it.
Should be the game plan for most weeks.
Best of luck.
I'm excited to see Erykah do. I hope it does something.
Me too. Wait, so Erykah in this gen, it gets Aura Sphere. Does it keep Scald?
It does, yeah, it has it.
Okay, that's cool.
It's one of those electric types that actually has like good coverage into like grounds and stuff, so it's cool.
Yeah. Okay.
It mainly struggles into grass types, which with Terra you can like run ice or fire or whatever the hell you want. So it could be cool.
Yeah.
Alright, well then I think
that's
we're done
it,
here.
right?
So yep.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the season. Peace.
See you guys. Best of luck.